All right, so we've got our graminoids here. Let me start out with the one I'm holding. This is a juncus. Each one of these little lobes here is a flower. Scoot it back a little bit. Yeah. It doesn't. Okay, so that's pretty good. Each one of these little things is a flower, and you can actually see 6 tepals on it. Much easier to see with your naked eye than with this. When we do the graminoids lab, I'll do some better close-ups. Okay, but so from a distance, these two look the same, but when you come close, you'll see that this has the 6 tepals, whereas Cladium here has each individual spikelet. Now, if I break one of these spikelets off and tear this apart, you'll see that there's one huge achene in each of these. Whereas if I go back to this one and break, so the juncus, break one of these off, you'll see that this is one flower, and you can kind of see, can't see it very well, but there's little tepals. So there's 6 little scale-like things. Okay, so juncus, cladium. Now, Rancospora is another common one at the bog. Now, Rancospora is a little bit harder to for me to pull this apart. I actually broke a couple spikelets here. This is the seed. It's not, it's really small, but, there we go. Here's the little seed of it. And so there would only be one seed per spikelet. It's hard to see here, but
it shows right up.
There's a different texture on the top of this than, and that's a good characteristic for it. It's called a tubercle. I'll have some better close-ups that show that. So Rancospora and Cladium are keyed out by having one large achene per spikelet. What a spikelet is here is a little bit harder to see because they're all on top of each other. To me, I think of the Rancospora as looking like kind of one of those silly paintbrushes that you'd use like to, I don't know, make leaves or something. A hoity-toity paintbrush. And it's kind of a khaki color, but if you were keying it out, it would be one large achene per spikelet, which is also true for Cladium, but the Rancospora has the tubercle, whereas the Cladium doesn't. Okay, then a really easy one is the Eriophorum, and it's just the white poofs. And when we pan out to the whole bog, you'll see these little poofs. So that makes it easy. And the poof is actually the sepals, the perianth. Now this last one here is Dolichium. So I've got a good Dolichium that's still green, and you can see it's the 3-way sedge. And I showed you some of this in my yard. But then the one with the flowers, you can see that the flowers are coming from the leaf axis. Leaf axis. And so that's pretty distinct. It's the only sedge in Michigan that isn't terminal inflorescence. Everything else, the inflorescence is at the tip. So here it's coming from the leaf axis. Another good thing that Dolichium shows, you can see the sheath here is, it's called a closed sheath, so it goes straight across. So that's a good characteristic for it. All sedges do that. That's a good characteristic for a sedge. And this is a great example of a sedge coming out in 3s. But Dolichium really does it and is distinctive without the inflorescence because of that. So those are the main graminoids here.